Hello, and after an extensive break that Logan and I took in order to effectively do well on our finals, welcome back to Live from the Plains. My name is Daniel Locke. This guy is Logan Fowler. Auburn Basketball is ranked number 2 in the country, and Hugh Freeze and company are yet to add anyone through the portal.
Yep. It's been a crazy time the last few weeks. Obviously, we've kind of dropped the ball a little bit here on the show, but we've had signing day. Obviously the portal is open and that has been absolute madness in college football. Not necessarily, you know, any crazy news on that front regarding Auburn football and Hugh Freeze and those guys.
I would
Definitely,
say of the 11 players who have transferred out so far, the two that I was pretty surprised by were Hank Brown and Caleb Wooden. The
yeah.
other 9 were kind of expected, I feel like.
Right. Like I said, um, they've had their fair share of departures, none that, when you look at it, probably worry you to death.
Mm-mm.
Other than the fact that, Auburn's got one scholarship quarterback on campus right now.
Yeah, it'll be 2 in a couple weeks.
It'll be two in a couple weeks, but for the time being, there's one guy on campus who can play quarterback for Auburn right now, and that's
So
Walker.
you saying that, I feel like that's a good place to start for today. Caleb Jones of Auburn Rivals reported yesterday that he did not see Jackson Arnold, the Oklahoma transfer, but the day before yesterday, um, Malik Murphy of the Duke quarterback arrived on campus. I think Caden Salter's already been here.
Well, I'm not 100% sure on Caden Salter. I do know that Malik Murphy left, which today's Friday, so Thursday. Jackson Arnold is there today.
Oh, okay.
He's in for a visit this weekend. Jackson Arnold. He actually 247 reported him being getting to campus yesterday evening and starting this kind of starting his visit here today on Friday. Um, Kind of the
So,
way
sorry, go
that
ahead.
those guys are reporting it. Christian Clemente, who we've had on the show here, does a wonderful job over there, as does Caleb with Rivals.
Yeah.
Um, they're kind of reporting it over there that it's kind of like a 1A, 1B with Malik Murphy and Jackson Arnold. Staff is very high on both of those guys. Kind of just they kind of I saw where they said that Malik Murphy's not necessarily in any rush to make any decision. I think they said like Miami is kind of in there
Yeah.
pushing for him as well. So, um, but it seems like the staff is very high on both of those guys. So I think with the quarterback situation, it's probably just who wants in first.
Yeah.
Auburn's been linked to a guy like Ashton Daniels from Stanford. Numbers don't necessarily jump off the page at you, but he was a serviceable quarterback last year. But it's in my opinion, Daniel, there hasn't. I mean, out of all the names in the portal, and this is just me, speaking my own opinion. If there was a guy that if an Auburn fan saw. I just don't think there's a guy out there right now that just makes you do backflips.
No, I don't think so either. And I wanted to say this a second ago. I think Auburn's going to take 2 guys out of the portal. And if I had to make a prediction right now, I would say it'll be Jackson Arnold or Malik Murphy along with Caden Salter is what I would predict. Because if you're Hugh Freeze and Ken Austin, I think you want to have as many options as possible because everyone knows how make or break of a year 2025 is for Hugh Freeze at Auburn.
Right.
Um, if Auburn's got a losing record at the midway point, I don't think Freeze continues.
Yeah. Um,
Um, or it's kind of known he has to win the Iron Bowl or something like that to keep his job.
Right, an Iron Bowl loss again this year, which just kinda has nothing to do with what we're talking about, would be 6 straight, Daniel.
Yeah,
That's,
it's already the longest streak since Bear Bryant.
right, and that's rough. Yeah, I mean, Auburn, Hugh Freeze, Ken Austin, those guys have gotta get they've gotta get a quarterback in there.
Two.
Well, they've gotta get 2, but they've gotta get a guy in there who's a proven winner, who, has been there, done that, can lead these young talents like Walker White and Deuce Knight along the way and win some football games. I mean, I mean, like you said, they've another 6-6 season at Auburn. Um, it's just probably not going to cut it. And
Mm-mm.
you look like I think we've talked about it on here. I've definitely talked about it with multiple people since the conclusion of the season. Really, Peyton Thorne, he didn't win you a lot of football games in these past 2 years, but, and his stats in 23 were, you know, definitely not jumping off the page at you at all. But this past season, man, after he cleaned up those interceptions, I mean, Peyton Thorne really did enough for you to win football games,
Yeah.
down the stretch. I mean, Peyton Thorne wasn't the reason you lost to Alabama. Peyton Thorne wasn't the reason, um you lost to Missouri. Peyton Thorne wasn't necessarily the reason you lost to Georgia. I mean, he played decent football really after getting benched and cleaning up those interceptions. But I mean, like we both just said, they've got to get a guy. They've got top end or high end talent now out wide at receiver. And then I guess this can kind of lead into another target that Auburn is pursuing, and that's Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech, number one player in the portal right now. Very, very quick, very fast. Don't have his stats pulled up off the top of my head, but he's the number one player in the portal for a reason. Um, Very high on Auburn. Auburn's very high on him. Obviously, he actually has already visited Auburn. He was there with Malik Murphy, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty, um, you know, noteworthy for Auburn there. But like I said, they've got the talent now at receiver. It's a little bit of upgrading up front on the offensive line. Um, I think like a guy that like Jackson Arnold or Malik Murphy, one of the two. Um, I think that'd be a good fit for Auburn.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like just kind of the biggest thing you need, like you said, proven winner and experience. Um, because you've got a guy who, yeah, Walker White saw the field against ULM, but that was it this year.
Right.
Deuce Knight, fresh out of high school, and that's my biggest concern about Jackson Arnold. Wasn't this his freshman season at Oklahoma or redshirt freshman? He had not played a lot, or
No,
if any, prior to this year, right?
right.
Because he took over for help me out.
Dylan Gabriel
Yes,
last year.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he also kind of he didn't have a great year. He got benched earlier in the season, I think for 2 games maybe.
something like that.
Um, and I can't think of the kid played against Auburn. What was his name? Do you know off the top of your head who that I can't remember either. It wasn't, I'm thinking of Marcel Reed. That's Texas A&M.
Yeah,
But anywho, Jackson Arnold come on at the end. Um, he can run the ball. He proved that against Alabama. That's kind of been what I think the biggest knock from I've seen on Auburn fans make on Malik Murphy is the fact that he had negative 79 rushing yards this past season for
oh
Duke.
wow,
Um, Now in college, they count in sacks as they count that in as attempted rushes, unlike the NFL. But still, with you know however many attempts he had on the ground. I guess we probably should have pulled up these stats before, but um, negative 79 rushing yards is pretty. I mean, that is rough, but I mean, if you go watch the guy play, um, he doesn't. There's not a lot of design runs. Like this guy's a stand in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field kind of guy. So that I mean, that's in my opinion, that is something that Auburn really needs. I mean, yeah, the quarterback run is, um, it's a big part of an offense. Obviously, you need a guy who can go pick up a first down on a third and short, and I think Malik Murphy can do that. But what Auburn hasn't had really since I mean Jarrett Stidham, and is a guy that'll stand in the pocket and deliver the football down the field. So um, I don't really know. I like Malik Murphy as the best option, um, under center for Auburn. Um, kind of, I guess we can kind of get over to some more positions. Auburn's had a couple of offensive line guys. Wendell Moe Jr. from Arizona, he's a guard on campus. Josh Thompson from believe he's from Northwestern.
Mm.
He's a guard inside on campus. Um, if you've got any other guys off the top of your head, please inform me. I'd have to go look.
I'd
Uh,
have to go look, but a lot.
yeah, so I think those are the only two offensive linemen they may have had on campus. They were really high on a guy at Kansas State whose name um, is escaping me right now, but he committed to Washington. See, that's the thing about these portal guys, man, is in high school you always want that last visit, um,
Mhm.
to make the best impression. In the portal, man, you want that first visit.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird how different it is, but
I guess
yeah,
it probably really just stems from, guys probably start taking visits their sophomore or summer after sophomore year is probably when that really picks up into their junior season. So you basically have 2 years to make a decision versus in the portal, you've got like 3 weeks.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's that is true. So I guess a couple other targets that Auburn's looking at here is obviously Auburn got to see Ahmad Hardy at ULM. Wonderful freshman year over there for them. UConn running back Darrell Robinson. Obviously, we talked about Eric Singleton Jr. Um, there's been mention of CJ Daniels from LSU who transferred there from Liberty. Obviously, very familiar with the staff here at Auburn. Um, so that's a guy that you could look at. There's been a guy named from I believe Wake Forest um, that they're looking at receiver, and then obviously it looked like Auburn had picked up a linebacker commit the other day from kid from Fresno State, Phoenix Jackson. Uh, like I said, I was reading a little bit of our guy Christian Clemente and what he said about the situation. Kind of seemed like
There we go. Logan did warn me before we recorded today that his dog is an active barker, but that's okay because we love dogs here on Live from the Plains, and it's no problem at all. They're our protectors, they're our best friends. So when they need to let off a little steam, you got to be patient with them.
dude, she's nuts, man. But yeah, so kid out of Fresno State, Phoenix Jackson looked like they had picked up that commitment.
Yeah,
But
because I had begun to write that story,
right,
and then when I started looking for tweets to confirm, I couldn't find anything anymore. So I
right,
was like, I'm gonna hold off on this.
yeah, I was so basically what like I said, I was reading our guy Christian what he said about it, and the best way he put it was that Auburn likes to have these portal guys on campus before they take a commitment. Um,
Yeah.
So kind of seemed like his camp kind of jumped the gun a little early on wanting to announce that commitment. So he also said, though, still love Auburn's chances at getting him in the class, and I think he's supposed to be on campus if he's not already fairly soon. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are I guess the top names that Auburn's involved with right now. So many names to keep up with in the portal, and I am as much as I love keeping up with recruiting, I'm so happy that I don't have to cover recruiting at a time like this.
I can't imagine Caleb and Christian are catching too many Z's right now.
Right.
Or Cole.
Yeah, I mean, recruiting, dude, it is a year round, pretty much 24/7, just roller coaster nowadays. So I mean, I guess here in a couple weeks they might get a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
When the portal closes, I mean, but then they'll be jumping right on that 26 class. So,
Yeah.
um, I mean,
That's a grind that really never stops.
yeah, that's a tough gig there, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are kind of the top names that Auburn's involved with. We'll see kind of in the next few days and weeks how it plays out. Obviously, quarterback is the biggest question mark, I guess, and see who they get and what happens on that front. But I mean, obviously, quarterback and offensive tackle, it seems, are probably your biggest needs. And one that's probably not getting talked about enough is, again, linebacker. You lose Asante, Keys, Mausi, uh, Gote. He didn't play much, but um, you've got a lot of experience that just left that room with DJ Barber, um, Demarcus Riddick, young guys like that who don't have a whole lot of experience. So you need to bring in some guys with experience in that room too. So, um, but yep, it's madness in the portal. So we'll see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, so switching over to the hardwood, like I said, Auburn held on at number 2 in the country in the AP poll this week, despite dropping its first game of the season to Duke. I feel like a road loss to a top 10 Duke team, that's just not really a loss that's going to hurt you that bad. Um, I don't. It didn't cause Auburn to move in Ken Palm or the net. It still
Right.
sits at the top of Ken Palm last I checked, and number 2 in the net.
Yeah. Uh,
So
it
there's
also
some
helps.
loss. I think
Yeah.
there's a thing as a loss that's just not that bad,
Right. Well, I
and
didn't
losing to
interrupt.
Duke on the road is just one of them.
Yeah, I just interrupted you twice. I didn't mean to.
You're all good.
Oh, I was just gonna
I
add.
won't hold it against you this time, but next time, just kidding.
Just kidding. I was just gonna add to your point. It doesn't help that, or it helps Auburn that number one Kansas went 0-2 last week, and
Yes.
a couple of those top five teams lost. So that also kind
Mhm.
of helps Auburn a little bit there.
But the SEC, man, is so competitive this year. The top 2 teams in the country are Tennessee and Auburn.
Yeah,
Alabama's not far behind. Then I think there are 6 or 7, 6 or 7 others who are ranked, and then 4 others who are receiving votes.
yeah, it's a strong league, man. I mean, Kentucky's they look good. Um, Obviously, you've got Cal over at Arkansas that looks all right so far. I mean, they don't, I don't think they necessarily scare you yet, but it's going to be a tough league. I mean, what was the exact quote from what Bruce said the other day? He was like,
I can't remember,
I
but
can't
I know
remember
what you're
either.
talking about.
He was like, you could win, X amount of games and be 10th in this league. That's how talented this league is this year. So yeah, it's gonna be a grind. You thought that Auburn's non-con schedule was tough. Just wait till they get to SEC play. It's gonna be fun though. So yeah, they're definitely battle tested though. They'll be ready.
Oh,
That's for
yeah.
sure.
I still don't think there's a team in the country with a better resume than Auburn right now.
No, two top 5 wins.
Neither at home.
Right. Um,
One was almost halfway across the world.
yeah.
Not far from that being an accurate statement, not even an exaggeration.
Yeah. Um, sorry, guys. Um, yeah, Iowa State, Houston, North Carolina. I'm gonna kill her, man. I'm gonna kill her. Hold on.
Yeah. So Auburn's had a great start to the year. No denying that. Um, we're starting to see Ja'Kai Howard and Jaheim Hudson back on the floor after that incident before the Houston game. So that's good to see. And you really you can't go far in an Auburn basketball conversation without talking about just the impact that star freshman guard Todd Pettiford has had. A 5-star recruit, a McDonald's All American, just really having a hot start to the year. And I think that I wonder if Logan agrees. I think by the end of the season, Todd Pettiford will be in the freshman of the year conversation.
Oh, absolutely. This guy's he's definitely come on. He shows up in the biggest games too, man. That's the good thing about what he's displayed so far. Um, obviously Auburn's backcourt, Janai Broome gets a lot of the attention, rightfully so. But Auburn's backcourt play, man, has been. I mean, this is an all-around basketball team. Tahad Pettiford, who is it? Tahad Pettiford, Miles Kelly, and Chad Baker Mazzara are all shooting over 40% from three.
Yeah.
I mean, and Tahad Pettiford stepping up has been really big for Auburn because, definitely not trying to talk down on the kid, but JP Pegues is not, showing up so far this season. So it's been, Tahad Pettiford's emergence has been really big for Auburn. Bruce brought him in as a scoring 2 guard, but he's shown that not only he can score at a high level, he can. I mean, this guy's a playmaker. He makes things happen for his teammates too, and he gets after it on the defensive end as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen a point guard, a guy his size, quite as athletic as he is.
No,
That guy can fly, man. He usually does some sort of like self alley-oop off the bounce to himself pregame, and it's like he catches it and windmills it, and he just like glides through the air every time before a game. I've seen him do it in Neville Arena. So he's definitely special.
I love watching it.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Right, but so I mean, like I was talking about, Auburn's backcourt, man. Like Miles Kelly, he's almost shooting 50% clip from deep right now. I mean, obviously they talked all offseason about him being a shooter, and we're seeing it. He went 4 or 5 from 3 against Richmond the other day. He's pretty good from beyond the arc, and then Chad Baker Mazzara and Tahad Pettiford are both right up there with him. I think at 40, they're both over 40% from deep. So I think I already said that, but yeah, I mean it's an all around team right now. They're playing good. The great part about it of what's happening for Auburn right now on the court is Janai Broome shows up early in the season, multiple 20 plus point games. Okay, teams are about to start double teaming him, focusing on Janai. Let's stop Janai. Janai's pass making um, ability to pass out of the low post has been phenomenal
Yeah.
so far. I mean, you 2 games that I look at is obviously Richmond the other day, and then Memphis. Um, I mean, that's the problem is when you it's like Bruce said, pick your poison. You want to go down low and try to stop Janai? Cool. We got Miles Kelly sitting in the corner. You want to try to defend that as well? Cool. We got Tahad Pettiford up top at the key.
Yeah.
Want to try to take that away? Cool. We got Denver Jones sitting in the corner. We got Chad
Mhm.
Baker sitting in the other corner. I mean, what it's they're playing as a collective group right now, and it's obviously it's showing.
And it is fun to watch.
Right. It is. Um, but yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about Auburn being battle tested. We've got Auburn obviously playing in the hoops day event again on Saturday against Ohio State. And Ohio State, yeah, they've got 3 losses on their record, but this is another scary team that couldn't, obviously 100% they can beat you. They are they're number 4 in the country in shooting from 3-point range
Yeah.
with 41.6% clip from deep. They've got four guys in double figures. So it's another backcourt for Auburn. Another tough, talented backcourt that Auburn's going to see. And Bruce talked yesterday in his media availability. Defense hasn't necessarily been the problem for us, is what he said. You know, if you look at outside of Isaiah Evans in the Duke game, hitting 6 threes in the first half, and Memphis's PJ Haggerty scoring 27 points. Auburn's kept teams leading scorers in check for the most part. I mean, obviously Cooper Flagg had 20 plus the other night against Duke, but Auburn's defense has played fairly well. So this is Ohio State's definitely looking to shoot the ball from deep, and they're going to make their living from out there. Kind of like that Alabama team from last year, or you want to compare it to Auburn terms. 20, the Final Four team. Auburn kind of lived and died by the 3. So yeah, Auburn they'll have to get out there and defend the 3, and then obviously they'll try and counter that with Janai and those shooters outside on the other end of the floor.
Yeah. I would agree with all that. Trying to think if there's anything else. You covered it. Hoops. Pretty good. Yeah. So tough test against Ohio State for Auburn tomorrow. Then a cleanup opportunity against Georgia State. Then another probably going to be top 10 matchup against Purdue and Birmingham.
Right. That's going to be another big one there. It stinks that Auburn is playing 20 minutes from my house here, back at home. I'll be in Colorado skiing down the slopes out there in Breckenridge. So I will not be. My gosh, dude.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't invited on the Fowler family ski trip this year. Maybe next time though.
Yeah, we'll see if we make it back out there to Colorado for that one. But yeah, that'll be Auburn's kind of last big test in non-con. They've got Georgia State and Monmouth coming to Neville Arena before to end the month of December, before January starts off with SEC play, with Missouri coming to Neville Arena on January 4th. So 2 big non-cons coming up. We'll see if Auburn can return to Neville Arena undefeated. I like their chances.
I do as well. And I think that's about going to wrap us up here today. You can follow me on Twitter at Daniel J. Locke. You can catch my written work for Auburn Tigers on SI.com. And I've potentially got a pretty exciting announcement coming up. So stay tuned for that.
Yep. You can give me a follow on Twitter or X at Logan F. Fowler. You can follow my written work at 1819 News and with the Auburn Plainsman.
You can't find us on MySpace, though.
Nope.
No, not there. Everywhere else, though. All right. Between now and next time, thank you so much for listening live from the Plains, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.